Okay, Costa Rica. So I studied abroad when I was in my undergrad in Costa Rica. I ended up doing actually a full academic year here. And within that year, I think that's just kind of when I really fell in love with the people, the culture, the landscapes. So as you can see in this photo right here, you're going to be in the middle of the Central Valley in Costa Rica, and you can see the mountain chain just kind of going around the entire outline of the photo. And that was one of my favorite things I remember, is that I could always see the chain of mountains in the distance from pretty much anywhere I was in the Central Valley. But now, having lived here for 5 years and working abroad and being a resident of Costa Rica, some of the things that I really love about it are the microclimates. We have over 10 different microclimates in Costa Rica. And so that means that literally you can be, in one point and travel 30 minutes or an hour away and be in a completely different almost region and climate. And so that's really, really neat. The biodiversity and the conservation in terms of that. And then also, as you mentioned, of course, just the sustainability, the sustainable development initiatives that Costa Rica is taking. We have so much of our country's national power sourced from renewable energy resources. We're making big moves to eliminate single-use plastic. We have no army since 1948. That is a huge thing that I love about Costa Rica. I could I could really go. We have universal healthcare. I really could go on all day, but those are just a few of the things that I love about Costa Rica in general. And so then now I'll go into sharing a little bit about what I love about ICDS and what we do here. So ICDS, as I mentioned, is based out of San Pedro, San Jose, which is the capital city. And this specific area is like a kind of a university town. So it's it has two big prominent universities in San Jose, really near, and just a lot of hip shops and places to hang out. And ICDS focuses on study abroad opportunities that really allow our students to immerse themselves in this culture, academically, personally, professionally, and through our interdisciplinary studies, also incorporating in experiential learning and global citizenship, which you'll hear me talk a little bit more later in the presentation. So our core topics within that umbrella range of interdisciplinary studies and experiential learning would be sustainability, healthcare, Spanish, and human rights. Okay, cool. So as I mentioned, we strive to empower global citizens by helping them develop intercultural and interdisciplinary competencies for all aspects of their life, whether that be academic, professional, or personal. I am going to play a quick video. This is our most recent institutional video, and it just gives a little bit more insight to the study abroad experience with ICDS in Costa Rica from our students' perspective. So let me know if you have any trouble hearing the video.
My name is Alex Maurer. I go to Villanova University and I'm studying global interdisciplinary studies with a minor in sustainability. I wanted to study abroad in Costa Rica because I wanted to improve my Spanish. I have a lot of family members who speak Spanish, so I've always felt that connection, and I also was really interested in the program at ICDS. Since coming here, I've really experienced the culture of sustainability in Costa Rica. Everybody here is very sustainable minded. It's really integrated into the everyday life of Costa Ricans. And I've learned that 99% of the energy that is produced here, it comes from renewable resources. So I think that's really cool. I think that studying abroad is a once in a lifetime opportunity that everybody should take advantage of, especially because at most universities, it's so easy for students to study abroad. And it's an experience that I've had over this past year that I wouldn't change for anything. So definitely do it if you're even considering it.
My name is Alexis Como. I go to school at St. Michael's College in Vermont, and I'm an environmental studies major with a focus in food systems, and I'm thinking about picking up a minor in Spanish as well. I've definitely explored a lot of Costa Rica since coming here. We've been here just over a month and a half, and almost every single weekend we try to find a new place to dive into, and I feel completely confident in saying that every day here is my new best day ever. So I've been really fortunate that we've explored so many beautiful places, and I can't wait to explore even more in the future. I would tell someone who's thinking about studying abroad that it's worth the paperwork, I promise. As soon as you get through that, it's a life-changing experience that will give you this cross-cultural connection that is really valuable beyond just what you're studying here physically, but also connections that you're going to make in your communities. If you are staying with a host family, if you meet people, it's really valuable. And I think that no matter what your field is, you can benefit from studying abroad.
Some of our program highlights. So as those ladies mentioned, discovering Costa Rica, our mission at ICDS is to get students out into really small and local places within Costa Rica. Sometimes they're places that even most Costa Ricans haven't traveled to. So we kind of like to refer to that as off the beaten path. Our experiential learning approach, which I've mentioned a couple times, just really getting students into the community, integrated into Costa Rican culture and life, again, through academic, personal, and professional ways. Learning the Spanish language. So that's going to be with your homestay family. One of the required classes for the fall or spring semester are your Spanish language classes. And then also the community development work that you get to do twice a week as a part of the program, which is so enriching and just helps you build lifelong skills, and really helps again with that cultural immersion. So your community engagement work, your homestay family, you're traveling to these really like local and rural communities to see how Costa Ricans live, along with getting out and exploring Costa Rica on your own with other participants of the program. Again, I talked about lifelong learning and lifelong competencies that you're going to be really building while you're here with ICDS. And so we incorporate experiential learning into our program kind of in 3 different stages, which is 1, the experience, so the hands-on, the going out, the getting into the community, the reflective observation, so coming back and analyzing and just kind of reflecting on your experience throughout Costa Rica, throughout your study abroad, and within the community with your classmates and in a more academic context. You do that through our community engagement course, and then going back out again and actively implementing everything that you're acquiring. And also part of that obviously is going to come back when you return to the United States and you're again on Concordia's campus. And really being able to live out some of the skills that you've developed through your experience with ICDS. I'm going to play one more video for you guys really quickly. This is Finca La Flor. So this is a completely sustainable and permaculture farm nestled in the mountains of Cartago, which is still in the Central Valley. But again, this is like a really perfect example of one of the NGOs that we work with that really gets you out into the local community. And
we promote environmental education, living simple and living in harmony with nature.
Be prepared to learn and get your hands dirty. So I guess the best part about here is you get to learn by doing. So you really get engaged in the different topics that you learn about, and they have a bunch of different activities to show you that. So we learned about how sustainable agriculture works, and then to like aid in the learning, we got to create a natural fertilizer that they're going to use on the different plants. I think it was really cool to see all the different strategies they've used and how we can use them in our own lives. But I think the most important moment was when we hiked all the way to the source of their local water system and got to taste the clean water and learn about how they use the local water spring to provide water for the rest of the community.
I also like how it was really hands-on. I think it's a really authentic view of how agriculture and sustainable agriculture occurs in Costa Rica, and that's something that if you go somewhere else, you might not necessarily ever experience that coming to this country. So I definitely say it's a good experience.
So fall semester 2022, spring semester 2023. So our fall semester is going to be from early September to early December. It's just under the 3-month mark. And so you spend Thanksgiving here and then you'll be home for Christmas. The sustainable development, the fall semester is called Sustainable Development and Social Justice in Latin America. No prereqs, it's welcome to all Spanish levels. There are going to be 5 courses, which usually translates to 15 credit hours, but that's verified by each university, so you can check with Parker on your specific situation. And of those 5 courses, we have 2 required courses, and then 3, you get to select 3 different elective courses from our bank of electives. Then we have service learning components of the program. There's a lot of different cultural activities sprinkled throughout your semester, and so that might look like a Latin like cooking workshop or a dance class. Our students recently just toured a coffee farm, and so they went like from the seed being planted in the plantation field to harvesting the seed to processing it and trying it. So really like integrative and holistic experience. And then there's also a couple different program field trips where we'll take you, maybe, for example, our students just went and did a beach cleanup this past weekend and had a great time exploring some of the coastal areas and giving back there. Then of course we coordinate your airport pickup and drop off. You stay with typically with a local homestay family. There's an on-site ICDS program advisor, and our small and close-knit team is always here to support you, of course, as well. And then ICDS partners with La U Latina, which is a local Costa Rican university that is about 5 minutes walking distance from ICDS's campus, really less. And that's where the students take the majority of their classes. You get a local Costa Rican like student ID to enter the campus and can use their resources there. So briefly, just to go over the courses, the 2 core courses that I mentioned, one is a Spanish language course. We have that for all Spanish levels. And then the other course is the community engagement and sustainable human development. And so that's the course that I mentioned when I was referring to the experiential learning component. We have the students go out to a local like community or community organization or NGO, and they do community work with the establishment of their choice. Usually that happens twice a week, and then once a week they come back and they kind of digest all of that and analyze that with their class. And so that's a really, really neat course that's unique to ICDS. And then you can see all the different elective courses. They range from environmental issues to tourism, development in Latin America, democracy. We have a business course that we've just added in. So there's a lot of different stuff that you can choose from for your electives. And the course descriptions are on our website if you want to read more about some of those courses. So do you have any questions?
What, like, you don't have to go in like super deep detail, but like what would a normal week look like on campus and off, I should say?
Students, say you're living with your homestay family. During the weekdays, Monday through Friday, you get 2 meals per day, breakfast and dinner. So you would wake up, have breakfast with your homestay family. Typically students walk to campus, and usually I would say the average is about a 20-minute walk. But there's also like buses and Uber available. You usually are going to be taking 2 probably morning classes. There's a lunch break at 12, from 12 to 1, and then you may have some afternoon classes or some afternoon off depending on your schedule. The classes happen at La U Latina, which is the local the Costa Rican university. And then students usually come back to the ICDS facility, and there's like a student study and workroom. So that's where a lot of students come and eat lunch if you're not eating on the U Latina campus or just around the area. But you can kind of hang out there. There's a foosball table and a garden, and yeah, so that's a cool place to study as well. Yeah, going back and having dinner with your homestay family. Some students might like meet in the afternoon, like after dinner, to go on a walk or maybe meet up in the park, or study. And then yeah, so that's like a typical day. And then a typical week would be taking, all of your classes spread out through the week, having the community engagement twice a week. So those would be days where you go to your community work site and participate there. And then there's 2 different program field trips that are usually 2 to 3 day weekend trips. That will happen throughout the semester, and the cultural activities. One thing that I wanted to mention also is that classes run from Monday to Thursday, and we do not hold classes on Friday. So students have the opportunity to travel the country Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of every week. So kind of like a longer weekend to really be able to get out and get to know parts of Costa Rica.
I know it changes, but what's a typical cohort like in terms of size? And is it mostly from the US or from different places?
With ICDS specifically, we primarily receive students from the United States. We have about 10 to 15 partner universities across the states. And so they do come from, like, our students come from all over. And we also work with like a lot of partners that have large international student populations. And so we receive international students through our US partners, which is really cool. Typically at ICDS, for example, we are having next semester in the spring, we will have a winter healthcare program going on at the same time as the spring semester. And so a typical winter healthcare program holds about 25 students. And then a typical spring semester holds around 18 to 20 students. And so ICDS is going to be expecting around 40 to 45 ICDS students that are kind of on around campus, getting to know each other, participating in some of the activities we have going on. The students taking classes at La U Latina. So ICDS students are only taking ICDS classes. They're not mixed in with other international students or local students, but they do share the campus, the resources, and can definitely attend any extracurricular activities that La U Latina has going on. So as La U Latina has ICDS as a cohort with international students coming in, they also partner with a variety of other organizations and universities. So at La U Latina's campus, there's a great mix of local Costa Rican students and then international students from all over the world.
Just some more information on like the homestay.
The homestay provides during the week 2 meals per day, breakfast and dinner. And then on the weekend or any holiday. So that includes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because Friday we don't have class or any activities, or any holiday. They have 3 meals per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The student is guaranteed a private room with the homestay, and there are a couple different like requirements, of course, that the room must have. For example, a bed, a desk, a closet space, a window. The student can kind of, we do a very like in detail questionnaire. And so we really try to get to know not only like the characteristics of the student, but what they want to get out of the experience and out of their interaction with the homestay family. And so try to really partner them with what we see as the best fit for the homestay family. Of course, there are always cultural differences that arrive when you're studying abroad, when you're living abroad and living in such a close family unit. And so we're more than happy to, make changes and help the student adjust and, switch if that's something that they need.
Could there be, you mentioned a private room, but could there be like kind of more than one student in the homestay, or is it usually just one?
No, it's just one ICDS student per homestay. We do try and like definitely, some of our students are grouped. So there's a possibility that you may live 2 to 3 minutes walking distance away from another participant in the program, but one student per house. All of our homestay families that we partner with right now are fully vaccinated. And all of our students coming are also fully vaccinated. And so we've just seen that like it's a better experience for them overall to be with the homestay family. And then if any quarantine is needing, they can, outside of their homestay family, then we can explore the student's resident option then. And it's something that we want to return to offering more so in the future, studying abroad during times of COVID. And while there's still different regulations and, safety measures in place, and Costa Rica is also like operating in some senses at lesser capacities. And so, I think the homestay family has actually really been able to provide also a lot of community that maybe because of the like seclusion and regulations that the student residents would not be able to provide at this time. I was just gonna say, I've been living in Costa Rica for 5 years now, and I live in the Central Valley, but I've traveled all around. So if you have any other questions, or I'm always happy to talk about Costa Rica. I love it here. There's a lot of different hiking opportunities. There's a lot of national parks, even within the Central Valley. There's a lot of volcanoes. And so those are cool mountainous areas to hike. But I would say like most weekends, people are leaving the Central Valley and traveling out to the coast.
Could you expand a little bit on the like the community work? I'm really interested in that. I think that's a really cool thing that you guys implement.
Partner with a lot of different community organizations, NGOs in the area and the local community. Those kind of have a range of different focuses, but they could be like educational, like after school-esque programs. They could be like centers for women and children. A variety of different community centers that you can choose from. And then you go and just kind of like really build a relationship with the people there and really help out like in whatever way that they need. There's a lot of different levels of like autonomy that you can take within your role at the community engagement center of your choice. So, sometimes they have really specific needs and you go and you do whatever that they're needing at the time. Or maybe they really want you to, put together an activity, put together help them organize an event or some other like bigger thing that they're doing. And so you can kind of step into your leadership role there. Go back and meet with your class. So you'd go out into the community twice per week, throughout your whole semester. And then once per week, you're meeting with your community engagement class. That's all the students participating in the program. And you're able to kind of talk about your experience, digest it, analyze it, and reflect it with all of the other students who are going to be placed at different NGOs. And so they're having their completely, different experience.
Well, thanks for stopping in.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sydney. That was very helpful. I am
Yay!
for sure. Thank you.
Bye, nice to meet you.